Hey everyone, I am Coach Linda, and this is another 100 Days of Purpose. For those of you that are not familiar, I know some of you are watching on my Destined to Be You page, but some of you are watching on my personal timeline. And if so, this is 100 Days of Purpose. I do it through Destined to Be You, which is the name of my company. And I help individuals discover and live out their purpose. And I always say it's time for us to take a sip of life. And what does that mean? Taking a sip of life is simply saying, I'm going to be strategic, intentional, and on purpose about everything that I do because I recognize that there is a solution on the inside of me. And that solution is needed for those that are around me, those that I'm assigned to. And so, with that said, let's get right into today's topic. Today's topic is you have value. Um, in a world where we seem to devalue one another, if we feel there's no use for you in our lives, or we can't get something from you, we feel that you are less than, you have no value to us. And sometimes you'll hear people say you're worthless or you're useless, is what they'll really say, right? You're useless. I have no use for you. What can you do for me? Or as my girl Janet would say, what have you done for me lately? And so we get in that mindset and we then start to think that people have no value. And people begin to tell us those kinds of things, right? And when they tell us those kinds of things, we start to believe it. Remember, yesterday we talked about our thoughts and how what we think becomes what we say and becomes what we do and becomes habits. And those habits then define our destiny or define our future. And so, what I want to talk today is I want you to understand that regardless of what people may say about you, your gifts, your talents, those are your gifts and your talents, and they add value to those that you are assigned to. So you've got to understand and recognize what it is that you have on the inside of you and who that is for, who you're supposed to give it to. Because most of the time we're trying to give it to people that don't need it or want it. And if that's the case, then they are going to devalue you. They are going to throw you out with the trash. They're going to throw you out with the bathwater. They're going to make you feel like you can't contribute to the world. And when you get in a place where people want what you have, where people need what you have, you'll see that your value will rise and you'll start to feel good and better about yourself. And so you want to put your place, you want to get yourself in a space where you can, one, figure out what is your pain, because out of your pain is going to come your purpose. Out of your pain is going to begin the start of your journey that is intentional and strategic. Um, because that whatever that pain is, most times that pain is something that you have a solution for. And you're so busy trying to be what somebody else wants you to be that you're not allowing yourself to utilize the solution you have and being all that you can be to those that you're supposed to be to it. And I need you to understand and recognize not everybody is going to embrace your gifts and your talents. Not everyone needs your gifts and your talents. And so when you are in a group of individuals that don't need it, don't want it, they're never going to recognize the value that you possess. They're never going to see that you are a true person of value. When you get in a spot where people need you and they want to hear what you have to say, they want you to do whatever it is that you can do, they need it. You'll see that they will value you more and they will uplift you. And I know that you can look at your circle of friends, and you can look at times when you were with some people and you just felt like they don't if I walk away and die, they wouldn't care less, right? You know that feeling when you're with the wrong people. You know how it makes you feel. But when you're with the right people, they begin to pull on you. They begin to tug on the in what's on the inside of you. They begin to say, open up, and you can then emerge into the being that you are. You can emerge into what it is that you already are, and you can let that butterfly come out of you. And so I want to end with this. We see caterpillars, right? And caterpillars are, some of them are cute and cuddly, and you look on, oh, look at the little caterpillar. And some of them you be like squash, right? You want to kill it. And one of my favorite books is the story of the caterpillar, and I the name is not coming to me right now, but it's a story about a caterpillar, and the caterpillar is going through and living and doing its due. It's born, it comes out of the larva, and it starts eating up everything. It's just a hungry little caterpillar, which might be the name of it. I don't know. I'm gonna look it up right now. I'm gonna look it up. Sorry, I did. It's called The Very Hungry Caterpillar, right? Now, I love this book because one, it shows the little caterpillar inching along and it's eating up everything. And one day I was kind of, thinking about this book, and I was writing um my journey on weight loss, and there was a chapter that I was writing about, and it reminded me of this caterpillar story, the very hungry caterpillar. And in this story, the caterpillar is eating everything. And as I begin to write this, and y'all know that I'm a Christian, so I'm gonna go a little spiritual on you for one moment. When I was writing this, the Spirit of God told me, that's the old you. You were destructive. You were angry. You were, and not saying that the little caterpillar was, but it's just saying, because you look at this caterpillar and it's eating up everything. It's destroying everything in its midst. It's eating up the flowers. It's eating up the leaves. It's just inching along, and it's just hungry. And everything it comes into contact is eating. And that's a form of destruction. And that's what God was showing me. That's a form of destruction. And so when you don't understand your value, when you don't understand that you have something to give to the world, you may go through stomping through, like what they call a bull in a china cabinet. You just going in and you just destroying everything. You eating up everything because you're trying to you want to be accepted. You want to fit in. You want people to see that you exist and that you have this talent, or you have this. And so you're just stomping around and doing everything. You're like that little caterpillar for 2 weeks of its life. It's just eating up everything. And then it goes into a spot where it does some self-reflection. Okay. For the caterpillar, it goes into the cocoon, right? And it spins this cocoon, and within that cocoon it goes through a transformation. It goes through a metamorphosis. And you then get to a place, or you come and you talk with Coach Linda and you say, hey, look, I need to make some changes in my life, because thus far I've been destructive. Thus far I've been living outside of who I am. And so I need to recognize who I am and emerge out of this process, that beautiful butterfly, right? That can fly around and everybody looks and says, ooh, ah. I don't ever see anyone saying, let's kill the butterfly. I don't see anyone upset when they see a butterfly. It's always when you see it. Butterflies are beautiful. right? But it started out being that little hungry caterpillar that was eating up everything, that was destroying everything in its path. And so when you are a person of value, when you understand that you have value, you need to understand that there's a butterfly on the inside of you waiting to come out. And everybody that when they see you, they're gonna be like, oh my, where have you been all my life? Have you ever had someone say that to you when you walked into the room and you solved the problem, or you did something and they're like, where have you been? Where have you been all my life? You know, it's like it's a breath of fresh air. You are that breath of fresh air, but you got to recognize your value. You got to recognize your worth, and you got to stop allowing other people to devalue you and make you feel unworthy, because the talent and the gifts were given to you for a specific reason. And that reason is so that you can be the butterfly that everybody wants to have around. So, you are a person of value. You have worth. I need you to recognize that. I need you to believe that. And I need you to walk in it. Because if you can be who you are, then that leaves room for me to be who I am. And together we can shine bright. So only those that can see the invisible can achieve the impossible. And I dare you, to be exactly who you were created to be. And understand this, that when you are you, when you have fully embraced who you are and fully allowed yourself to fly from that out of that cocoon into the world, when you've done that, the world's going to adjust. The world is going to make room for you. You won't have to fit in. It will make room for you. I am Coach Linda. This is 100 Days of Purpose. I will see you tomorrow with another tidbit for your life. In the meantime, you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Saturday.